got some wine in me now, so it's somewhat okay. What I got left.
Patrick brought me a few White Claws because, good lord, he had to help me with my fucking headphones, and so
Yeah,
I just asked
we're
him, and so here
recording.
we are. Oh shit! Hey guys,
Yeah.
this is Emily.
This is Chelsea.
Sorry.
And where mom needs a minute, and apparently we need a minute and some alcohol.
I
Uh-huh.
feel like this. Stop eating that fucking cord, you little. Don't.
We're off to a wonderful start, friends.
Well, I have 6 cats living in my house, and 3 of them are gonna go live outside in the spring.
As much as I love cats, man, that is a lot of cats.
And not only that, but we feel real bad for Mike. So he has been coming into the house, especially in the last week when it's been like, especially in the last week since it's been like negative 50 degrees, right? So, so you know how our breezeway is like really blocked off, right? It's in the house, so it's heated and it's warm, but it's still kind of outside because it's connected to our garage and our front door and whatever. So microwave is getting a lot of love, okay? Because he's being allowed into the house a lot lately, just because it's been 50 below, and I feel so bad for him. I can't let him, I can't. He'll sit there and he'll just cry at the door, and I'm like, buddy, I'm sorry, I can't leave him at the door. Like, he's so sad, and it's so fucking 50 below is so cold.
So cold. And even 40, like by the chickens, it would be too cold.
Yeah, really. We've been like checking on our chickens like 3 times as many times as we have, like as we normally do, just to make sure their water isn't frozen, to make sure that they have food, to make sure that their eggs are fine. Like, we've been checking on our chickens like 3-4 times more than we normally do, just to make sure nothing is frozen out there. And then Mike has just our cat Microwave has just been living like, every now and then he gets led into the kitchen, which we don't normally do because the kitchen is kind of free reign to the rest of the house, but he is being led into the breezeway more often than not because that is fully blocked off from the rest of the house. And the only reason he's being blocked off from the rest of the house is because he is an outdoor cat. And since we've moved here, we have never taken him to the vet, so we don't know what exactly is going on with him, like health-wise, that he could potentially transfer to our cats, like our interior cats. Yeah, and the only problem that I have with that is because, we do have cats inside that we are going to kick outside in the spring when it's not a gazillion below. We do have cats that are only in interior cats, and I can't let them get sick with something like that. So something that he could potentially bring in. And so while he is allowed into the house, he is allowed in very small sections, and he is allowed very restricted access, and we are allowing him only just to warm up, basically, because he makes my heart sad, and I can't sit there and look at him when he's crying at me through the door. It's 50 below. No, you get to come inside, man. It's 50 below. Even though we know we've set up, like Patrick and I have set up several places throughout our yard, throughout our farm. We have 11 acres. For those that don't know, we have set up probably a dozen places where he can get out of the wind, where they can get out of the wind, where they can be warm, we have probably a dozen spots set up so that they, like, outdoor critters, cats, because we have multiple. We have Tuck. His name is Tuck, but apparently his name was supposed to be Stuck, but Knox named him, and he couldn't get that ST sound out, so his name is Tuck. So we have Tuck, and then we have another cat that Trista's boys named Chimchar. It's a Pokemon, apparently.
Interesting.
Chimchar.
It was like the 4th generation starter.
I'm sorry, 4th generation starter.
For anyone who understands
Starter
that.
fire.
What I know.
So we have Tuck and Chimchar, who have no interest in being anything aware of us. But we have spaces set up all around our 11 acres where they can get out of the wind, where they can kind of cozy in around our trees. We have all of that. So they're not in any trouble. They're fine. Microwave is just more interested in coming inside and being a part of the family than Tuck and Chimchar are.
Yeah, he's friendly. He's not your,
he's a big baby.
He's not your typical farm cat. Granted, when I grew up on a farm, we had cats just like him that were like friendly and they're farm cats, but
well, and I think when you think of farm cats, typically you think of
Tuck
like
and-
how Tuck and Chimchar are, where they're seen but they're not heard. You cannot pet them, whatever. Whereas Mike is like, actually, I should be an inside cat,
Let me
and
in.
you keeping me outside is an actual problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's been very cold. He's been inside a lot lately.
Made him out to be like that, though. They created him, you know.
And I'm not helping. I am not helping at all. I'm making it worse. Monday, what was it, like 48 degrees below zero, like negative 48 real feel?
Do you want to ask my car?
Oh, that was the day to come and save your car. Yeah, so probably Monday it was like negative 48. He spent like an hour and a half in my breezeway. I closed it off. He was the only one allowed in there. Like I said, we don't allow ours in there with him quite yet. Just simply for health reasons and stuff. He got some food. He got a whole can of wet food, which he loves. He's a sassy little guy for living outside. He's very, very sassy. But but he sat in there for like an hour and a half, but it's like negative 50 outside, and I'm like, dude, you sit in here all day long. I don't fucking care.
Do with our farm cats, we had, you have a heated bowl. So instead of like putting water in it, my parents would plug it in and they just sit in the heated bowl. And that's how they'd warm up.
Oh. Interesting. I have never thought of that. Oh, I'm gonna have to tell Patrick about that. That's a really good idea. Just like a little, it's like a heated blanket almost.
Yeah, but
that's a really good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, so like we put those in our chicken coop, and obviously one did have water in it, but the rest they just lay in, and that's how they all kept warm. They didn't come inside.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. We have probably 4 heated waters out and about between what we have for the chickens and everything else. So having just an extra, like an empty one, that's a really good idea. I'd never thought of that before.
Okay. Well, why do you need a minute? We gotta do that still.
Oh, fuck. Well, Oreo, my cat, is a nightmare.
You eat Oreos.
We have had him since October. So he's, I don't know, 4 months old now. He's very young. He's still like October, November, December, January. Yeah, that's only 3 months. So he's 4 or 5 months old now. So he's still very, very young. He's a fucking nightmare lately. He's got some sort of tummy bug. I don't know, but he's got a leaky ass that is all over my fucking house. We've just been calling him leaky ass for the last 4 days.
That's crap.
It's disgusting. It's horrible. The amount of carpet cleaner that we have gone through is outrageous. It's outrageous. And yeah, so so speaking of that, if my story is not 100% up to par with my other stories, I do apologize. However, I handwrite my stories, and I had my notebook open last night as I was writing it, and I had to, long story short, I had to rip out several pages and I had to rewrite a good chunk of this. And while I do think that my story is going to be just fine, if it does sound a little off, it's because my cat is going to talk to the doctor tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's why I need a minute. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can't stand this fucking cat.
Yeah.
Right now. Like, I'm a big cat person, but god damn it. And listen, Oreo, he can do literally no wrong. He can do no wrong at all. He is a perfect little creature. But I had to rewrite this entire story. Yeah. I had to rewrite this entire thing this morning after he shit all over my notebook that was open. So, like I said, I apologize if it sounds like my notes are kind of scattered or not 100%. I did try to do the best that I could to reclaim the notes that I may have lost. I will be back next week with better notes. So
hopefully,
I hope my story is still entertaining and thankful. I'm really thankful that it's not quite as in depth and as like what it's not such a like fact-based story as like Carl was, because I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. We are gonna do a cryptid today, which I know Chelsea just absolutely adores cryptids.
Sure do.
Yeah, but at the very least, my cat shit all over my notes when it is a cryptid and not when it is like an actual fact-based Carl crime or something.
That is fair.
So I didn't have to quite redo as many notes as I would have had to if we were still doing Carl. Fucking Carl. God, I'm so sick
I
of
think
that guy.
Oreo agrees with me about cryptids.
Well,
I shit on those notes too. However, I will listen
all right,
to
well,
it.
Chelsea, why do you need it? Why do you need a minute? Because you're being a fucking asshole right now. Oh, fuck you,
Okay.
man.
I've got a list.
You gotta get your
It's a
list
great
out.
one.
You gotta get your list
Already?
out.
I do. One, I'm still sick, so ignore the sniffles and this nose blowing.
You do actually sound a lot better than you did last week.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure I died.
Yeah,
It went downhill
not so much
so fast.
Oh my god. You sound so much better. It's not in like your sinuses so much anymore. You don't sound like you're actually suffocating on your own junk in your face.
Yeah, I literally, like, after Wednesday, it went downhill so fast, I felt like ass.
It's awful. Whatever.
I don't know what the fuck
It's
is that's going
horrible.
around, but it was miserable. I was like, it's just a cold. I'm fine. It's just cold. Body
Oh my god,
chills, and I
seriously.
was freaking like I was cold, and I was tired and achy, and I'm like, what is this? But I didn't have a fever.
Remember 2 or 3 weeks when I also had all of that nasty shit where I was a fucking miserable monster? I think that I had the exact same thing that you are just finishing up on, because it was the body aches. It was being cold. It was not being able to regulate my temperature. I was cold. I was fucking hot. I was miserable. Like, it was in my lungs. It was in my sinuses. It was in my throat. It was horrible.
Yes, your throat
Oh
hurt.
god, it was horrible.
Yes, and I mean, my dumbass still went to fucking work because I'm like, it's just a cold. I'm fine. No, I felt like asshole.
Today was the very first day that I noticed that, oh my god, I can actually like breathe again. Like,
Oh God, I have that much longer
No,
to
probably
go?
not. Do you have asthma? Did your lungs get absolutely
Fair enough.
fucked by COVID a couple years ago? No, probably not. So
Fair enough. Nope.
I've had
Nope, nope,
asthma
nope.
since day one, essentially, and then I got COVID a few years ago, and with all of my other in my other illnesses, right? I'm technically I back then I was technically like a high risk, high, whatever they were calling them person, right? So
Yeah.
then when I got COVID, but I have asthma, my lungs got fucked. And it was
Yeah.
December of 2021, January of 2022. And because my lungs were are already so fucked, they haven't recovered. But then I got this illness that you're talking about from, the last few weeks. It took me 3 weeks before I could like actually breathe again, where I wasn't just like fighting for my life. It took me 3 weeks. And that's just, like I said, that's just cuz my lungs
Yeah.
suck
I'm just,
already. So, I feel that.
yeah.
It's
I'm
horrible. It sucks
just
so
stuffy
much.
as shit.
You sound a lot better than you did though.
Yeah, it was not fun. And
No, you sound a lot
yeah,
better than you
I
did.
feel
You
better. It's
look
just,
better. Like even just on
now it's just my freaking nose.
You look better though. Even just like your face looks not as miserable. Like you don't look as
I
miserable.
was,
Yeah.
yeah, I was not. I literally just, I don't know. It sucked ass.
Yeah.
Don't recommend. If you feel like that, stay home. I fucked up. I should have
If
stayed
it's
home.
the same thing that I had, I
Um,
fully, 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 fully agree. Stay home. It sucks. Don't give it to somebody else. God, Lord, good Lord. And because
I
our
honestly
kids
just thought that was a damn cold.
go to the same school and are like BFFs, I do assume that it was the exact same thing. Stay home. If you're
Oh yeah,
feeling this, stay home. It sucks in a big way.
my bad. I'm too stubborn.
It's your fault. I'm just kidding. I went to work
I'm
also.
fucking short
I went to
staffed and
work too. It
everything, and
doesn't
I'm
matter.
like,
I mean, it does. Mine.
I just feel like in my head, I'm like, it's just a cold. I'm fine. It's just a cold. I'm fine because I don't have a fever. I'm fine.
And then it just kept
If
getting
I would have had a
worse.
fever, then I'd be like, yeah, I got. Yeah, I went. Oh my God, all weekend long, I was just
Mm-hmm.
dead.
Oh my God. And it just
I know.
keeps getting worse and worse. It's like the one day you're like,
It
oh,
does.
I'm just extra sleepy and my throat is kind of
Yeah.
tickling or I'm coughing a little bit. And then it's like, over the next 3 or 4 days, you're like, this is not a cold.
Mhm.
This is not a fucking cold.
Yep.
This is something else. Like,
Exactly. So it was like it hit really hard on Friday, and by that point, I've already been at work, and I'm like,
mm-hmm.
I just no point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and
No.
then like Saturday, Michael wasn't home, so it was just Nolan and I, and I'm like, I can't even take a nap because I can't trust him.
Yeah. It's
So then like
awful.
Sunday,
As
yeah, it was effing miserable. 0 out of 10.
Yeah,
Do not recommend.
based on your description of it, based on what I had a few weeks ago, I'm
Hmm.
100% and the fact that our children are best friends at the same school, I'm 100% certain
Yeah,
we had the same thing, and
absolutely.
it was honestly one of the most miserable experiences of my life. I know mine
It's
was
like
made worse because of my asthma and like my lung damage and the fact that I couldn't breathe for a month or whatever, 3 weeks.
yeah,
And I still am kind of having problems with it. So I know like mine, just because it was respiratory and it does affect like my lungs and stuff. Um mine just
yeah,
lasts mine lasts longer than,
yeah.
typical,
It
but it sounds like we had the exact same thing and it is a fucking nightmare.
it is. It's like you'll get up and you're like, oh, I'm feeling a little bit better. Then all of a sudden you start doing shit and you're
And
like,
it punches you in the
JK,
face.
JK, JK, false
Abort
alarm.
mission. Absolutely not. Abort mission.
I like fucking cleaned the litter boxes and I like got done and I'm like,
I'm gonna pass out.
I'm gonna die. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
It's horrible.
God. Oh,
So if you're feeling ill, if you're having any of these symptoms that Chelsea or I just explained, please, 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 please drink enough water. Stay away from people because it is miserable. Stay warm, see a doctor, drink your fluids. Neither one of us
Yeah.
saw a doctor, but drink your fluids, stay away from people, get your sleep. Do it. You know how to keep yourself healthy. But if you feel this way, oh my god, it's a nightmare.
It gets
It's
worse.
horrible.
It's not a cold. I swear to God, it's not a cold.
No, it feels like a cold starting out.
It does,
It
and it's
feels
like you
like a
don't get a
cold starting
fever.
out, and then all of a sudden it's gonna just like you're gonna go to sleep and you're gonna be like, I'm gonna kick this cold in the morning, and you're gonna feel fine in the morning, and then it's gonna actually just stomp on your throat,
Yes.
and you're going to be like chewing on glass, and
That's exactly what it was.
then every single one of your muscles is going to feel like it's in a vice grip. So if you feel that way, please stay home. Drink your water,
Doesn't
please
get
stay home
better.
because it's what would you say, like a week? It took me like a
Oh
week
shit!
before I actually it took me like a week before I actually felt like I could be a human being again.
I literally like Mondays when I started getting like it. I could feel it in my throat, but it wasn't like horrible. Tuesday it progressed. Wednesday I'm like, holy shit, is there a cat in my
Something's
throat?
wrong. Mhm.
Yes, and then Thursday everything else hit and it was still bearable. I'm like, okay, it's just a cold, my throat hurts, I'm coughing, I'm
Mhm.
stuffy, my head hurts, I'm tired, but it's just a cold. Got home, cleaned litter boxes, all that, and then I like could have just I might as well have just died. Friday, it
Melted it right into the
nailed me.
couch.
Nailed
Don't
me.
even look at
I
me.
went to work, I'm
Mhm.
like, we're short staffed, I have to go to work.
Mhm.
Oh,
I I was a
oh,
fairly sick child. I was a fairly sick child growing up. I have asthma. I have gastrointestinal issues. I have like my teeth, my mouth, my throat have always been a problem. My head has always been. I was a fairly sick child, and so I have quite an ability to ignore a lot of things within my gastrointestinal throat, head, whatever. This was fucking horrible. I
oh
would
God, it's
rather have I would rather have my tonsils removed and deal with that for a week and the healing process from that than deal with the sore throat that I had from this.
it was
It
agonizing, and then like
was the fucking worst. It was agonizing. That's a really good word for it. Agonizing. Fuck
it's
that.
that
It was horrible.
like the frickin' like, when you try to sleep, your legs would ache so bad. It was like they were restless, and you could not
Mhm.
get comfortable.
It was like, yeah, it was like RLS is like a side
Mm-hmm.
effect of whatever this was. It was
Oh,
like I really struggled with my arms and like my shoulders and stuff as
yes!
well. Yeah,
I
it was
couldn't get them
horrible.
comfortable.
Mhm.
Once I was
Well,
sleeping,
I'm
I was
glad
fine, but oh,
I'm glad to know that because I was sick like what, 2 weeks before you were? I'm glad to know that it was like both of us kind of having the same thing, right? So it wasn't like I'm sick, I don't know what's wrong with me. I like this is
yeah,
so fucking weird. And then all of a sudden it's like you are also like I'm sick and this is my symptoms and it's so fucking weird, and I was like all of a sudden I was like, oh my god, this is actually something going around. This is not just
yeah.
me and my body being like, hey, fuck you,
If I would have
you
known
know.
that, if we would have discussed this, I would have been like, shit, I should just stay home because it's just not, it's gonna get worse. It's not just
You
cold.
should have. Yeah,
But I
you should
didn't
have. It was
frickin', I
fucking
just let it
horrible.
go. Yeah. Anywho, before we continue on this rant, I got more. Um,
Go.
one can stay in here. So, I got summoned for jury duty, but tomorrow.
Do you get to go?
Okay, let me get there. I forgot about it for a little while until I looked at my calendar. Until I looked at my calendar last week, and I'm like, shit, I have jury duty next week.
Chelsea.
So here. Here I am calling that number to see if it was on there, like since last week, right? Last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept calling because I'm like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. It ruins my routine, and my routine's off, and it just messes in the noodle.
Can you just tell them that your best
So,
friend will take your place?
well, you may not want that. So anyway, start of this week, I called again, left it alone a little bit, and then I didn't call on Monday. It was, what is today? Wednesday? Yesterday. Yesterday. And then I got bored and I was like, I need to figure out what the fuck this case is. I need to know what it is because I need to know what I'm going into. So I looked it up on the court records. It was really boring. It was like a custody battle where the kid should live, pretty much. It was
Oh.
stupid. And I'm like, okay, for one, I will probably not get picked because I'm a divorced mom.
Well, that
I feel
doesn't
like that would
necessarily mean
counteract.
that really does. Honestly, though, they could see that as like you want the best for the kid, especially based
Yeah,
on,
but it also could see
especially
that I would pick the mom side.
no, especially if you like looked at like say your history behind that, like why you're a single mom, why you have main custody, like why if they were to look at all of that, then they might be able to like see that you
Yeah.
can choose like rationally versus like nope, I'm a single mom, it's just me. Mom's for the win, mom's this. Like because in your all of your settlements and stuff, you're like, yeah, no, he does this well and he's a good dad and he does this and he does that. You know what I mean? Like you are able to be impartial even in your own settlement as far as stuff like that goes. So
Yeah, but I wasn't gonna make it sound like that. Because I didn't want to be there.
oh well.
But it was in this case the dad had majority custody. So
Which is
mom
also
lives in a
good for
different state, dad lives here.
which is also good for kids. Wait, dad lives out of state?
Not in James. No, mom lives out of
Oh.
state.
Oh.
Not, no, 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 no,
Okay.
no, no.
Okay.
But it was, the court record said they had an agreement, whatever. The agreement's, it's time to go over it again, was what it was. Which is understandable. And I'm
Yep.
like, okay, so this doesn't even need, like, jurors there at all.
It's
It's like a
weird
mediation
that
situation.
it's weird that they would have jurors there for that.
That's what I thought. But anyway, so today, well, yeah, anyway, I went to bed last night and I was like, I'm so anxious. I don't fucking know why I'm anxious because
Mm-hmm.
I just don't, whatever. It's a different thing. It's my routine's broken. I hate it.
Yep.
I fucking got up at 2 a.m. this morning and could not fall back asleep because I was so anxious.
Chelsea, I woke up at 2 o'clock this morning and I could not fall asleep because I was so anxious.
Shut up.
And I had no idea why I was like so anxious and why I was like nauseous. Chelsea, I woke up at 2 o'clock this morning or 2:30 and I was so anxious that I could not fall back to sleep until like 5:30 a.m. And I was so
I did
anxious
not go back to sleep.
and I was so anxious and I was so nervous and I could not figure out why.
My bad.
I wanted to throw up. Like I was literally nauseous because of how anxious I was. Are you kidding me?
Nope. My bad.
That's like the
I
time that you
know.
woke up or that you like
Yes.
cool.
Yes.
I had literally no
Yes.
idea why. Normally, if I wake up in the
Yep.
middle of the night like that, I have say I've had a dream or I have some sort of something to look
Something on your
or
mind.
something to look forward to the next day that's really
Yeah.
stressing me out or something. It is rare that I don't have a reason where I wake up and I'm nauseous like that. Are you fucking kidding?
My bad. So, yes, I was up at 2 a.m. and
Mm-hmm.
I get up at 4:30 to go work out anyway. So I was like, if I fall back asleep, there's no point. So anyway, I stayed awake. I get to work today. I called like fucking 9 times. No joke. I can show you my phone. 9 times just to see. Finally, at like, I think it was like maybe 3:30, 4 o'clock, they updated it and they canceled it.
You're really gonna hate
worrying
this
about
then.
this for no reason.
So I woke up at like 2 o'clock this morning and I was so anxious I could have thrown up. I had no reason why. Normally it's not a problem. Normally I can answer it, right? I came home after work. I got all my phone calls made. I had to call the vet. I had to call the schools to let them know that the boys aren't going to be there on Friday. I had to do this. I had to scoop Oreos shit off of my carpet with a plastic spoon. I had to do all of these things. And I put like a mask in my hair at that time because I was like, I need something happy for me, right? I got up and I got into the like I got ready, like I had done all of this and my whole day has felt fucking off because I woke up that way. I felt off. I felt something was fucking weird. By the time I had been like, I'm going to take a shower, it was 3:45 because I felt like everything was okay, like better. And I felt better. It was 3:45. Like I was just getting out of the shower when the boys got home.
I texted Michael at
This is
3:44.
disgusting. That's disgusting. That can't.
Oh
That
my God.
that's disgusting.
Wow. I think we need to stop hanging out.
Seriously.
Oh
That's
God, but
outrageous.
yeah,
No,
so
I
I was fucking
oh my
anxious
God,
for a
no.
solid week.
I'm not kidding. I put like I've been putting rosemary oil in my hair so that it like my little breakage points are growing better because that's what I saw on TikTok. Thank God for TikTok. And I sat with it in my hair.
Yeah, TikTok's
God.
back.
I saw it. I let it sit in my hair for like a couple hours and it was like it was like 3:30, 3:45 when I was like, okay, it's been in my hair for a few hours now. I'm going to go take a shower. And it was like 3:45 where I finally felt like with my ADHD, if you don't have ADHD, this probably doesn't make any sense where it's like you kind of have to like talk yourself into showering. Where it's like cuz I'm going to have to get cold. I'm going to have to get cold and then I'm going to have to get wet and then I have to do this. And it's a lot of work, honestly. If you have ADHD, I understand. If you don't have ADHD, then it's maybe it doesn't look like that, but that's how it looked for me. And so this afternoon after I put all this rosemary oil and stuff in my hair, it was like 3:45 when I was like, actually, it's been sitting in my hair for long enough. I feel okay. I'm going to go hop in the shower. That's disgusting, Chelsea.
And then tonight, right before recording, you told me that you were grumpy, and I literally was
And you went, I'm
in
grumpy
the same
too.
mood. Same time. Yep.
The universe has a lot to tell us today, and I don't think we're listening. So, anyways, all of that said, do you want me to tell you a story?
Yeah, we're gonna need to because it's been like 51 minutes. Minus
I feel
what
like
I'm
you're
gonna
gonna have to cut out a lot of that, though.
It seems like a lot, but when I cut it out, it's actually not a lot of time.
All right.
All right,
Chelsea.
do the story.
Are you ready for me to tell you a story?
Yes. Do I have an option?
Mm-mm.
Can I opt out?
Why would you want
then
to
yes.
opt out? Why would you want to opt out?
No,
I don't. I would like you to say it. I would like you to say it.
I don't know. Well, you see here. Just think about cryptids.
You know how much I love them.
I know you love them, and I put up with them for you.
That's real true love. That's true
Double
love.
balance. You're right.
All right. Because of where I heard this, I am like 90% sure that you also know about this creature. Just based on, because I heard it on podcast, and I'm sure you've also heard it, been told by them.
Can we say the name?
Well, I heard it on And That's Why We Drink. M did it on, and EM Christine, RL Stein. Yes, Chelsea's sweatshirt there. I've heard it on theirs, on that, and then I also heard it on Sinisterhood, and both.
Oh, well, there's still a chance that I'm not going to
Well,
remember
no, I
any of it.
know that. Well, that's but
Ha.
I originally heard about it on those two podcasts, and if you've never listened to those podcasts, honestly, they're pretty much the podcasts that inspired Chelsea and I to make our own. They're fantastic if you want all things spooky, haunted, cryptic, true crime, like gory, everything. They are so good.
Yeah.
If you listen to Sinisterhood specifically, Heather, the host, Heather, one of the hosts, is a lawyer. And so I always find a lot of the things that she has to say about things like that incredibly helpful, just based on her experience and her knowledge as far as stuff like that goes. This doesn't help her in this case because this is cryptid. So the lawyer, but
Yeah, but all four of them are funny. They're all
they're very
comical,
funny.
and they're all very
Yes,
open.
they're very open. They're very relatable. Their research is actually also very, very good. Like, they are a lot of fun to listen to. So I suggest, if you want other podcasts, they have so many more episodes than we have. But goal is,
Yeah. And if any of you listen to us, can you please let us know?
please God,
That'd be super sweet.
if you also if you
That'd
if
be
you
lovely.
listen, if you take it from here over to And That's Why We Drink, or over to, can you tell them, or over to Sinisterhood, can you tell them that you heard about them from us? Because that would be ideal. Please God,
Yes.
please tell us. We're so poor.
I can only go on Instagram and like so many of their posts for them to notice us.
They're so funny.
The desperation is really high right now.
They're so smart. All four of them. Christine, Christy and Heather, they're so smart. However, I have heard of this cryptid from both of those. So I'm not sure which episode. I can go look. I don't know, but I don't care. So I get to tell Chelsea, because let's be real, all of us still need a break from fucking Carl, because he's such a fucking nightmare, man. I'm going to go back here maybe next time, or I'm gonna have a couple more where it's like not so dark and serious, but here we are. So I still, like I said, I still need a break from Carl. And after last week, I told you some really fun history. If you haven't listened,
I've had that song stuck in my head for days.
I have another song. I have another song for you in this one too. This one is not nearly as popular as Common, and because I know you haven't heard it yet, I can't play part of it on the episode for you, so you're gonna have to listen to it yourself. But we can link it in the show notes and stuff. But there is another popular song regarding this case. So I told you some fun history last week about how coincidences are just so much fun. Honestly, weird coincidences like that are just very much fun to me. So this week, because I didn't give you a cryptid last week, I get to do a cryptid this week. I think we both get the way that we want it then, right? So are you ready to welcome to the stage the most relatable cryptid you've ever heard about in your life?
I suppose. Let's go.
It's the Squonk.
Oh, yeah.
I am obsessed with this fucking thing. Okay, I'm obsessed with this thing.
I love that Oreo shit on those
Oreo
notes.
shit all over these notes, and I had to rip out so many fucking pages to like rewrite things. Yeah, it feels fair. It feels right, doesn't
I
it?
just imagine you looking at these notes, picking around the shit, and just like trying to
No, do you want to know what
rewrite
happened?
them.
I walked downstairs and I see Bentley with like a handful of paper towels trying to like he's trying yeah, he's being so sweet.
Uh,
He's trying to wipe off as much as he can with these paper towels without ruining my
so he
right.
doesn't wipe it.
He didn't want to ruin
Oh,
like my writing. He was trying to like scoop and like clean it as much as he could without wrecking everything I'd written. Yeah. My kid is literally the sweetest human being on the planet, honestly.
then you got Maverick who would have looked at it and been like, "Eh,
No, no, he goes, "Mommy, do you need me to help you clean? Like, do you want me to throw these pieces of
oh,
paper away?" Because I went, "No, Bentley, stop, 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 stop. Like, don't keep wiping. I will take care of it. Thank you so much, though." And then I started like kind of doing what I could, doing recon, and I'm pulling pages out of my
yeah."
notebook. And Maverick goes, "Mommy, do you want me to throw these pieces away?" I was like, no, because I actually spent hours on this. But yeah, I mean, you have to. Like, so
Well,
yeah, if you want to throw that away, I really appreciate it. So, like I said at the beginning, sorry if my notes sound incomplete. My cat shit all over my notebook, and here we are. So,
well, we gave you two perfectly good podcasts to listen to if you want to just like maybe piece it together.
both of them have awesome or awesome episodes, which I can find. I just haven't because I don't have an opportunity to because I've been chasing my leaky ass cat all over my fucking house. So, anyways, the most relatable cryptid of all time is called the Squonk. Chelsea, you indicated that you know
Yep.
kind of some about this thing.
Yeah, I think it was in both of their like really early episodes, I feel like. So like I know the name,
Do you rem-
but for one I'm
do
not.
you remember anything about like what it looks like, what Bigfoot is like an ape like thing scrolling through the woods or something like Loch Ness
That's
is.
common.
Yeah, do you remember anything of like where this thing lives or what it looks like or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
I know the name.
Well, who could forget the squonk?
I think like if once you start talking, I remember them like showing
Mm-hmm.
pictures, and isn't it supposed to be like an ugly cute kind of thing?
Very much so. And actually,
Okay, so I
yeah. And actually, so this morning I dropped Maverick off at school because it's late start, right? So because it's Wednesday.
oh I get what you're saying because you had to guess. He goes to school on time.
Correct.
Yes.
So I dropped Maverick off at school and then Bentley and I had gone to my place of work. And I was working there like I punched in, I was like doing, my morning stuff there and whatever. And him and I were kind of chit-chatting and we were listening to an episode like we like to listen to like audiobooks and stuff. And so we were listening to stuff like that. And then all of a sudden we were walking outside and like as I'm taking him to school and he goes, "Oh, it's Wednesday. What story are you going to tell Chelsea today?" And I was like, "Oh, it's a cryptid story. It's the Squonk." And Bentley goes, "Is that the one that does XYZ?" And I said, "Yes, that is." And then I get home, I've got my laptop open. I'm, typing and like I said I had to do a lot of adjustments with my notebook and my paper and my notes. So I have a lot of things open and Maverick goes, "Mom, is this what you're doing tonight?" And I said, "Yes, it is." And he goes, "Is this the one that exit?" And I was like, "Yes, it is. You're right." And so both of them are like fully on board with this fucking thing and they love it. And it's incredible. And I hope that everybody else relates so fully to this fucking thing like I do. So the first memories, or the first mentions of a squonk is found in the book called Fearsome Creatures of the Lumber Woods with a Few Desert and Mountain Beasts, written by William T. Cox in 1910.
Okay.
Do it. Nope. Do it. Because as I was writing this, right, his name is William T. Cox, which then makes me go, William, which then turns his
Dick.
name into Will T. Cox. Will T. Cox. And
But Bill, Dick,
Willie. Will T. Cox. I couldn't fix it in my
Willie,
head. It was Will T. Cox. Wilty. Will T. Cox. I couldn't fix it in my brain.
Willie Cox.
Willie Cox. Will T. Cox. Like Cox. I don't think there's a good way to do that. I don't think there's a good way. Anyways, so this
Very
book,
unfortunate.
yeah, Will T. Cox. Bummer. So this book, Fearsome Creatures of the Lumber Woods with a Few Desert and Mountain Beasts, is published in 1910. And in this book, the squonk are first said to be found near the hemlock forests in Pennsylvania near the Pocono Mountains. However, in a later volume named Fearsome Creatures or Fearsome Critters, depending on where I'm looking, the title changes between Fearsome Critters or Fearsome Creatures. That was published in 1939 suggests that they may have migrated from deserts to swamps and then from swamps to finally the forests and the mountains. Supposedly, logging companies at the time kept ruining their habitats, so they had to retreat further and further into the forests. Pretty typical for that stuff. So regardless of how they actually ended up in the forests, because I have a whole thing about that, it was the loggers at the time that would come across these creatures. Do you want to know how the loggers described them? I have a direct quote from William T. Cox's 1910 book about how they described this creature. The quote, "The squonk is of a very retiring disposition, generally traveling about at twilight and dusk. Because of its misfitting skin, which is covered with warts and moles, it is always unhappy. Hunters who are good at tracking and are able to follow a squonk by its tear-stained trail, for the animal weeps constantly. When cornered, an escape seems impossible, or when surprised and frightened, it may even dissolve itself in tears." Honestly, babe, same.
Same. That, or I'm probably
I'm
gonna
just
fart.
gonna
I
cry
don't know.
myself into oblivion.
Depends.
To be completely honest, honestly, you're backed into a corner and you're like, I am so ugly because I have all these like wrinkles and warts and moles, and I know. Please don't come get me. I will cry myself into oblivion. I don't need your fucking help.
I think I'm too angry for that.
I will cry. I can burst
Big
into
angry
tears at
tears.
any moment. So after more and more I can do it right now if you want me to. After
Please don't. Well, I said, please don't.
It's gonna take me a second. After
I will hang up right now.
good luck trying to consolidate two different calls for this. You do that.
We won't be consolidating shit. It'd be done.
Bye. Anyways.
Yeah, you only get like 5 minutes of the squonk. You know what? Next time I get an animal, I'm naming it Squonk.
I think I'd like that to just be my nickname. You can just call me the Squonk. So, after more and more sightings of this creature are becoming like more and more prevalent, right? It's 1910. William T. Cox gives it a scientific name, which is Lacrima corpus dissolvens, which is taken directly from the Latin words for tears, body, and dissolve. And now, whether or not he has actually any authority to give anything a scientific name, because I feel like you have to have some sort of authority for that, right?
Science
I don't know.
degree something.
I feel like you
I
have.
don't know. In that
I
case,
feel
I've
like you
been
have to
naming
have some
shit for
sort of
years.
credentials if you're gonna give him a scientific name like that, right? Doesn't matter. Jury's still out. But you know what? He wrote the 1910 original book. Who am I to say that he's wrong? Who am I to say?
In 1910,
That's 115
anything's possible.
years ago at this point. Who's to say that he's wrong? So William Cox, Wilty Cox, is the original. I like Wilty.
Willie Cox. Yeah, but a Willie is also a dick, and so is a cock.
Is more fun. Anyways, Wilty Cox.
It's all bad.
The original author of the fearsome creatures of the Lumberwoods with few desert and mountain beasts. He says that a squonk is, quote, an unhappy creature with low mental capacity that is always crying because, I paraphrase, of its ugly ass appearance. Honestly, samesies.
Me!
Samesies.
Me!
Quote, with ill-fitting skin covered in moles and warts, it's among the most hideous of creatures ever to walk the land, and it knows that.
Okay, well, you can skip the moles and all of that. I do know I'm not. I know I'm ugly, but I don't think I got the moles.
And
maybe.
it
I don't fucking
knows.
know.
It's the and it knows that. That's
ill-fitting
that's so sad.
skin.
So it's just wrinkly and
That's
wrinkly, right? But it's the most hideous of creatures.
well, you know,
It's
my
the
hands
most
are kind of
hideous of
ugly.
creatures ever to walk the land, and it knows that. That's so sad. No wonder it just cries. Honestly. No wonder it just cries. Because
Oh, guy.
So
He
then,
ain't got no friends.
after the 1910 book and all of these encounters with it, there's a 1939 book written by Henry D. Tyrone, which is called Fearsome Critters, which is honestly kind of just like, because that one was in 1910 and this is in 1939, it's kind of just like the updated, abridged version of it, right? So it's like just like updating it essentially, right? But
Yeah.
Henry Tyrone here, Tyrone, makes it just so much worse for them because, okay, so this 1939 book called Fearsome Critters, it introduces the idea that there are fossils pulled from the surrounding lakes in the area of the Pocono Mountains that show that there were once many squonks living in that area. And basically they just starved to death because they were either too dumb to swim across the lake, or they were just scared of their reflection in the water and they just refused to swim across the lake.
It's literally me. That is me. You ain't gonna see me swimming nowhere.
Okay. Well, it gets worse. Okay, right.
Forever using those excuses. Thank you. I see my reflection. I will not be getting in there.
According to Henry Tyrone, this author, they are pulling hundreds of thousands of fossils out of this water. And they are all hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, they're my ancestors.
And they're proving that the squonk is just too stupid to swim across, or that they're afraid to be in the water or around the water. Hundreds of thousands. Anyways,
That
no
would be
worries
me.
though. No worries though,
That would be
because the
me.
squonks have
I ain't worried.
survived. Okay, they can't.
Yeah, I'm right here.
They will not be taken down by Henry Tyrone. I'm sorry, Henry Tyrone. They won't be taken down by him.
I'm
And they're
Tyson
like,
better.
hey, watch me. So, because of survival of the fittest, thanks to Darwin, that's taken course. And now all of these creatures, if you look at Tyrone's 1932 or 1939 book, they've all actually evolved or grown webbed toes to swim better so that they can get out of these swamps that have been killing them for there's thousands of them, right, in the water, and now they have webbed feet so they can swim their ways out of there.
Have you seen my
I'm
feet?
just saying. Yes, I have.
Have you seen my feet? My toes are quite close.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to
Telling
tell you.
ya.
Okay, so now they have webbed
Telling ya.
feet so that they can swim out of these sad water moments where they have either been too dumb or scared of their reflections in the water to swim out of it. But now they have webbed feet so they can swim even faster, right? Wrong. These webbed feet are only on their left side. So only their left feet are webbed. So they can swim very quickly in a circle.
Circle.
Yep.
I hate how much I can
I
relate
know.
to this thing.
I know. So
Oh.
it just swims in a circle, all sad and crying because it's ugly and like full of warts. It just cries itself into fucking
I ain't
oblivion.
got no friends.
All right.
Oh my
So, in the 1910 book, Fearsome Creatures of the Lumberwoods, William Cox describes the capture of one of these creatures, which is why he wrote this like entry in this book, because this book has like other like woodland creatures like Loch Ness Monster. Okay, it's not Loch Ness Monster, but it's like other fantasy or just other creatures. Okay, this whole book is just other creatures that might not be squirrels and raccoons and shit, right? So, in this book, he describes the capture of one of these creatures because one of them got caught back in 1910, and that's why he was able to write this entry in this book that he's writing, right? And this man was named J.P. Wentling.
JP Wentworth, 877 cash now.
I have a structured settlement and I need cash now. Call JG
Call
Wentworth.
JG
877 cash now.
877.
I don't think
We are not sponsored by them. We just have ADHD.
correct.
Carry on.
So his name is actually J.P. Wentling. Wentling. I know, but I feel like I have to say it really like slowly like that because if I say Wentling, that sounds very different than Wentling. Like it's Wentling, right? Wentling versus just Wentling.
Yeah.
I don't know. So according to Mr. J.P. Wentling, how do you catch one of these fucking things? Right? No.
Net.
Because he describes it to Mr. Wilty Cox. First of all, they only move around in the
Anywho.
dusk or the moonlight or the twilight because they want to avoid being seen by the foresters or anybody around. Right, they want to avoid being seen because they're so ugly and they're so miserable. Or they would like to avoid being seen in the reflections of the water around them. So they really try to stay out of any sort of moonlight or anything that might reflect their image back onto them so that they don't have to see themselves. Because that would make them sad and they're trying to avoid that. They prefer, right? They prefer to move
Look in the freaking
I
mirror every day.
know.
Woo.
They prefer to move around on like freezing cold nights because the freezing air slows down their tears. So their
Yeah, that's where I
their
differ from
tears are
them.
just not as like loud, and it doesn't lead people to them because if you actually like listen really really close to the air in the Pocono Mountain or the Poconos, you can hear them just quietly sobbing away at how ugly they are and how sad they are. But if it's
No, that's just me.
yeah, right. But if it's freezing cold, everything is kind of frozen and they can like almost hibernate, right? So before we keep going, we're gonna update their appearance. And this is one of the cryptids that has the least deviation from day 1 to current day. So their description has been almost exactly the same since the day that they were first recorded to now. And that's really rare for a cryptid that's been around for over 100 years. Like, there's a lot of change typically, and well, this person saw this and this person saw this, and so like the conglomeration of the descriptions kind of really mess with things, right? But for a squonk, it's almost always the same, and it has been for more than 20 years or more than 100 years. I'm sorry. However, in 2015, there's an updated version of the 1939 Henry Tyson book written by Hal Jackson. I'm sorry, Hal Johnson. It is Tyson. Oh my god, it's Tyrone.
Oh,
it's Tyrone. I wrote it wrong. No.
It's the poop smudges. The poop smudges got you.
I just can't spell. I'm sorry. The 1939 version of the book by Henry Tyrone, which has now been updated for 2015 by a man named Hal Johnson. I'm so sorry.
This episode. Holy shit.
All right, so Hal Johnson rewrites the 1939 book, and not necessarily rewrites it, but just kind of revises it and updates it because it was written originally in 1910 and then 1939. He just kind of updates it in 2015 to kind of just update it, right?
To read how like we talked.
Yeah, kind of just reword it.
Yeah, because everything will sound different because they definitely talk different than what we do now.
Yeah,
word things differently.
Wording is very different, especially because it's been like 100 years at this point minimum.
Exactly.
So, yeah, like 115 years. So it's like, yeah, obviously, like stuff like that needs just a revamp so that people still understand or still are reading and still getting kind of the same story as it would have been back then as it is now, just in different terms. So Hal Johnson is the writer of the 2015 book, and he adds that not only do these gigantic creatures with their wrinkly skin full of warts and moles, and they look like pigs and just they're so sad. They're so sad that they just cry themselves into oblivion. They have cauliflower ear, and you know what cauliflower ear is? Okay.
Yes, yes.
I figured you did, but for those that don't know what cauliflower ear is, it is a thing commonly seen.
Exactly what it sounds like.
It's commonly seen in wrestlers or other athletes that do very full head contact with others. It is specifically in the cartilage of their ears. If you have like your ears and you roll your ear around too much, you can break that cartilage in your ear that holds it into shape. And if you do not release that fluid, so if you don't remove it, or if you don't have somebody, like, it's real gross if you have to do it yourself, but it's real gross. But if you do not, that fluid within the cartilage that has now been released will solidify, and it will continue to swell your ear up, and it will continuously make your ear get more swollen and more swollen. And personally, because I am married to essentially a career wrestler. I mean, we
High school up to college.
Middle school.
Now he's coaching.
Middle school through middle school through
sorry.
college, and he's now coaching kids. He's essentially a career wrestler. So I've seen a lot of cauliflower ear. I have drained a lot of the fluid that will build up. I've done a lot of this as far as that goes. However, I've also seen a lot of it where it is not cared for appropriately, or where it is not where it's just left kind of on its own. And I've seen people where their ears swell to the point where they can't even put like AirPods in. They can't put headphones on like in their ears because their ears are so swollen. Where I've seen it where it's like down through their like neck is swollen because it's just to the point where like cauliflower ear is not only specifically a wrestler problem. It is for any head-to-head, like football players can get it, boxers, honestly just any where it's kind of more of a combat versus like say golf, right?
Yeah, any kind of sport that will have any kind of contact with the ear. And even if you drain it, your ear is literally never the same.
Yeah, no. So I have personally drained both my husband's and his brother's ear, as well as several of their friends, multiple times over the years, because they can feel it when the cartilage in your ear pops. You can feel it. And it's real gross to drain it. However, they know that it needs to be drained before it gets to be a problem. So I know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about these things have cauliflower ear. I am well aware of this fucking thing, or this phenomenon, essentially, and it's a fucking nightmare. It's gross. It's ugly. I've seen people not be able to put AirPods into their ears anymore because their ears are so swollen. I've seen it firsthand between not only my husband but his brother, a good majority of our best friends, and even my children at this point. They're not that far off from me having to. They're gonna be real pissed when I have to poke Mary's ear. But anyways, so these things have horrific cauliflower ear, right? That's how they were originally described. However, in the 1939 version of this book, it's worse. It's worse. They're more swollen. They're more poofy. They're more disgusting. They're more like disfigured. But not only that, they are now covered in wax and hair. You know, it's like you got that real waxy ear kind of feeling. It's just your whole ear now. Because listen, Henry Tyrone here, author of the 1939 book, he's doing no favors. He's doing no favors. So, these ears are covered. These cauliflower ears are covered in a good, thick, disgusting yellow wax and hair. But not only that, they have yellow tusks that are like nice yellow and crooked, like real.
Haven't brushed in a minute.
Yeah, haven't brushed in a minute. Yeah, they're that's what they have now. And and my favorite, they only have 3.5 legs.
I mean, seems reasonable.
At this point, honestly.
Just out of curiosity,
At this point,
can you
honestly.
crochet me one of these things?
Hmm?
Can you crochet me one of these things?
I've never thought about it. But
I think we need
man,
one.
it might be on my short list. I've never thought about it. Anyway, so these things have 3.5 feet. They have 3.5 of their feet. They're pig shaped, roughly, right? So they are bipedal. Quad. Wait. Fuck, I don't know.
Ooh.
No, I'm just trying to think if you're 4 feet on the ground like a pig. I want to say bipedal, but I'm pretty sure that's like what we are and like what gorillas and stuff, like 2 feet, right? Bipedal.
Yeah, because bi
Is
means
2.
two.
So, anyways, doesn't.
Try.
See, I was thinking like quad, because that's quad is 4, right?
Yes.
I don't know.
Think about wrestling terms. It's a quad. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, like a pig.
Okay, you can keep going.
Like a pig is considered a.
Pod. Tripod.
Nope. I'm not calling it a tripod. That's not right. That's not happening.
Tripedalism.
You know what? I think we just walk away from this.
Okay, well, I just got into something about a large penis, so let's carry on, please. That was on Wikipedia.
Okie doke. Okie doke. So, anyways, these things have 3.5 legs. I don't know what actually does that count. Like, is it like, are you a tri quad? Like, is there a half, like tri half quad? Is there something like that? Anyways, doesn't matter. That's stupid. Anyways, so your 2 left sides, your 2 left feet, they're webbed like ducks, so you can swim because you've been because you have there's been fossils found in the swamps and you need to learn to swim, so you start making webbed feet, right? Survival of the fittest. Stop it. I don't make that face at me. So,
I found the pattern for you.
what?
Nothing. Carry on. Found the pattern.
What pattern?
A squonk.
Will you please send it to me?
I was planning on. There's tears.
Send it to me immediately. Send it to me right now.
Okay.
What are you sending it to me on?
I was on. It's on Etsy.
Perfect. Send it. Just whatever. Not Instagram. Delete my Instagram.
Okay. Okay. You can. I'll send it to you. Carry on.
No, what did you? I would like to see it very much. Anyway, okay, never mind. Sorry. Um. Okay, so they have 3.5 feet. The 2 left feet are webbed because they were becoming extinct if they didn't learn how to swim to shore, right? Because they were dying, and that's how their fossils were found in the lake, right? Because they were too stupid to get across. The right front foot, that front right foot, totally fine, right? Totally fine. But the back half of that right foot, the lower half, instead of it just not existing, it's just transparent. So it's there, you just can't see it.
Interesting.
So these creatures are just ugly and stupid and miserable. And obviously, a white man has to make. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
I know. I know.
That's the
Oh,
funniest
it's like
fucking thing. Add to cart. Add to cart. Okay.
I need it. I need it.
Okay.
Anyway,
So, obviously, no. White men have to make it worse, right? That's just what they're best
they
at.
always do.
That's just what they're best at. Okay. So, originally, a man, William T. Cox, wrote this like article or this like entry into his like weird species book essentially about a story that a man named J.P. Wentling told him. So J.P. Wentling said that he caught one, and the stories about these creatures being found in the woodlands and the forests and whatever because of these because of the climate change and the people that are working around there and like the forest workers and stuff like that. JP Muntling is like, hey, I actually fucking caught one of these things. Okay. So Wilty Cox is like, hey, I have a lot of questions about that. Will you please talk to me? And JP Wetling is like, heck yeah, man. Hell yeah. And they're chit chatting, right? And they're just butt fucking each other, essentially. So apparently, JP here is like, hey, I understand them so much. I understand a squonk to like the nth degree. So I can just, and what had happened was I just walked out there where you guys said they were, and I found it. It was just there. It was just right there. And I said, hey, will you get into this bag? And the squonk went, sure, I'll get into this fucking bag. And jumped into the bag. I can speak well. Okay. Are we recording?
Yeah, we're back on.
Perfect. We've had some technical issues over the last few weeks here. So our squonk episode might sound a little funny with me jumping in right here to explain that. So it's like a distinct 2-part kind of series here just on one episode. That's why.
Yeah, internet issues. I am now hardwired in like I would be if I had a desktop computer. Defeats the purpose of a laptop, but whatever. Here we are.
I am much closer to my router, so hopefully that works. And if not, then I guess I gotta go get my cord to hardwire in, so fingers crossed this works better for us, because good lord, it's been a rough couple weeks trying to figure this out.
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with the cold. Honestly.
Probably. I'm so sick of this. We're on, what, week 3 of this now?
Yep.
I can't handle it any longer.
Nope, I can tell my brain hurts, but
Mm-hmm.
story
I'm
for a
very
different time.
tired. Very tired
Yep.
more often than normal.
All right,
So.
should we
Mm-hmm.
start back up with this feller?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, as we recall, we were doing the Squonk, and this little ugly-ass creature is the one that just cries itself into oblivion because of its just ugly nature, and it feels so bad for itself. Hard relate. With like ill-fitting skin, warts, oh gosh, what was it? Like he ends up with like cauliflower ear and yellow tusks and just weepy, goopy eyes constantly. So I mean, it's just a mess. So at one point here, so it said that you cannot catch them, right? Because if you catch them, they're just gonna dissolve into tears, right? And it's like you can't keep a solid thing, you know, like in a bag or something, or like a liquid in one piece,
Yeah.
essentially. So it's supposedly almost impossible to catch one, except unless you are a man named J.P. Wentling, which is very hard because I keep wanting to say J.G. Wentworth.
Yep.
So if I mess that up, I apologize. This man's here said that he had caught one. He said that he had caught one and he got it into a bag and then carried the bag home. And all of the while, apparently not realizing that the bag was just getting lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. And then as soon as he gets home and he like opens the bag to find this Squonk. Oh my god. Oh my god, I just choked on
And
my
that
own
was
spit.
his exact response.
Probably. Oh my god, I just choked on my own. Oh god. I'm sorry about that. Holy cow. A second here. Oh my god.
We're just
Okay.
struggling. Oh.
It's yeah. So he gets home and he didn't realize that this bag was just getting lighter and lighter and lighter. Because apparently he's a moron. And he opens it, the bag, and oh my goodness, the bag is just wet and there's no animal in there. And it's like, I feel like you would be able to tell that this bag went from having a creature in it to just being wet.
Yeah.
And not having a
And
creature in
light.
it. Yeah. 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 So then JP Wentling's arch nemesis. Okay, arch nemesis, which feels to be a little whatever. Anyways, so
Dramatic.
yeah, it does seem that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So JP's arch nemesis Hal Johnson tries to catch a Squonk, but quote, but like the Squonk, he dissolved into tears and died. End quote. I'm not sure what that means. So I don't know what that means.
Me neither. I'm not really sure what the hell they're going out and catching either.
Well, right. First of all,
Like
what did JP have in that bag? Probably
Yeah.
nothing. He probably just got a bag wet and said he caught one, to be honest, but
I don't know, goes out and gets a freaking like icicle or something and just shoves it in there.
And he's just like, this is it. This will work. I mean, they are in Pennsylvania, so I don't know, man. But I don't understand that his nemesis, quote, like the Squonk, he dissolved into tears and died. What happened here in like trying to catch this damn thing? That he dissolved into tears and died. I don't get it.
But if he died, wouldn't he still be in the bag, or did he just literally just fully dissolve?
That is
No?
a fantastic question. There is no follow up.
Yeah, like where's the remnants here?
No follow up. That's just that. So, Hal Johnson is no more for this world, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
So, anyways, now you may be asking yourself, how do we get more squonks if they just keep dissolving into tears and into nothing, right? And now I have a question. Do you think they like come back together once the threat has passed? Right? Do they like reassemble themselves and back like go from water into like a creature again? Or do you think that water just kills them and they are just gone forever?
Yeah, I think once they're dissolved, they're signed, sealed, delivered, done.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know, like doesn't like a what is it, a bee? Doesn't a bee sting and die?
yeah, or I think yeah,
What does
yeah. Because I know
something
wasps.
dies after it like protects
I know.
itself?
I know. I was trying to think if it was like a wasp, but no, wasps don't. I was then maybe hornets, but I think you're right. I think it is a bee.
Yeah, I think so. But I think it's just the male bees, not the queen bee. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm not a bee person, but I know
I guess
that
I don't know
something
either.
like that stings and dies. Maybe that's the situation here.
Maybe.
They
Maybe.
try to protect themselves and then just
Dissolved
adios.
into nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, and then never come
So,
back.
yeah, maybe. So, anyways, how do we get more squonks, you might ask, if they've all just keep dissolving? They have a method which is called binary fission. And if you are curious as to what binary fission is, binary fission is a type of asexual reproduction where a cell splits into two identical daughter cells. And it just like splits in half and just they both just create that way. And now you have two squonks, essentially. Solid. I see no problems here at all.
Nope. None.
At all. Nope.
Mm-mm.
So the offspring of these squonks are the genetic clone of the original. And
Okay.
that's just what that is. So that's how we get more squonks. They just duplicate themselves, apparently.
All right.
And there are several like mentions of it in popular like media today. In I want to say it was like the 70s. Okay. Okay, these are both in the 70s. Any Major Dude Will Tell You was first released by Steely Dan in 1974, and the song has the line, "Have you ever seen a squonk's tears? Well, look at mine." And then the rock band Genesis wrote a song and put it on their 1976 album, and the song is just named Squonk, and it is all about the squonk. And
Interesting.
like, which is hilarious, I think. And it's sad. It's just sad life. So I think that's very funny. But all right. And that is all I had left on the squonk. We waited that long for 10 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. I was almost done when we went out last, or when the internet and everything went to hell on us last time.
Oh God. Oh my God, I don't know where that came from. There is no coming back from that though. Could not get the internet to work again. I don't know what the hell happened, but
no, we worked on that for a long time that night too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't want to help, or that didn't want to work. So that is the Squonk, the sad life of this little Squonk. And did I send you pictures of it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and I forgot to tell you, did I tell you, there is such a thing called Squonkapalooza. It is
Where's that?
It is a festival held in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And it has the Squonkapalooza is an all-ages cryptid festival celebrating the squonk and other creatures of Appalachian and Americana folklore and cryptozoology. And this is, I'm just going to send it to you. This is the cover page, or the cover, or this is the website. And it's just the cover art is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I just sent it to you. And we can post this website in the... Is that not just the silliest thing you ever done seen?
It is. It's like kind of cute though.
I know. And it's like, it's pink. It looks like a pig. And it's just sobbing. And it's so wrinkly.
It is. It's just like a... I'm not really sure how to even describe that.
It's like sitting on its
No.
butt with its hands, like its feet's like stretched out, and then its little front paws just in the middle there, and it looks like a really, really wrinkly pig with skin that doesn't fit. And it's just
Johnstown.
sobbing. So I think we should go to Squonkapalooza.
I'm thinking so. August 2nd? Shall we check
Yeah.
my schedule? See what the
I've never-
schedule says.
I've never gone to a palooza before.
Me neither.
I don't believe. And I would very much like to go, I think, to a palooza of
just
some
because.
sort.
And
Yeah. And then this poor little guy. He's just so sad. He needs all the love he can get, I think.
seriously. But it looks like... Oh, here. Don't they have other... Oh. Dang, I thought maybe we could see like the speaker and entertainers that they were going to have, but they don't have them yet.
Looks like they're still updating all that stuff on the website,
Yeah.
probably. Since it's in August, they've got a little time to finalize everything, I suppose.
Yeah. Dang.
Yep. So I would like to go to Pennsylvania in August.
Same.
And go to Squonkapalooza.
And then like, is there anything like around there other than that?
No, I don't know. Probably not. It's Pennsylvania.
Well, at least we can say we went.
Exactly. I've never been to Pennsylvania before.
Me neither. We could go just like make it a weekend thing and call it a day.
There
I
we
don't think
go.
we need any longer than that.
No, I think you might be right. Maybe a Friday to Monday kind of a thing. Just because it's going to take a while to fly there. I can't imagine that's like a short flight. Probably a couple hours. I don't know. Anyways, that's all I have for you on the Squonk and the Squonkapalooza and his music.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I know.
I want to go.
Me too. All right.
Okay. That was good.
Yep. That was the end of that. Now on to the next one.
On to the next one. So
stay tuned for the next one, because man, is it a wild ride that Chelsea is about to go on right now.
Yay!
Yay!
Yay. Okay. Oh, shoot. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.